Joe was funny. Joe, he wasn't trying to steal money. He just didn't draw a distinction between his money and anyone else's. Now, this scheme that he was trying to put up, he put a lot of his own money in. He lost that, just like the other people lost their money. And that's I was calling evidence from the police. That's not the normal plot. Normally the man doesn't put his own money in. He puts your money in, but not his own. Joe and the magistrate accepted this, and so we ran about 3. And those we lost, we took one on appeal to General Sessions with Geoffrey Byrne, and where Stephen Charles was appearing for the Crown, and we won that. And then another one went to Ben Dunn on an order to review being heard in my favourite miscellaneous causes list, and he kept on convicting, and we took that to the High Court, where it's become an important case about liabilities in relation to balance sheets, Guss and Van Geysen, or whatever the policeman's name was, and we won there. So that of those that mattered, we'd won 5 out of 7, and we'd lost on the 2 technical hopeless ones. So instead of going to jail for 6 or 8 years, Joe got fined, I think, $300.
What happened to him after that? What happened to him after that?
Oh, Joe's still around. He stayed on in the profession. We had a certain amount of trouble with the costs in the High Court, because he had briefed me himself in this, and it turned out he wasn't on the High Court list. Life was dangerous. But anyway, I think he was allowed to get himself put on the list and enforce the order for costs. And about a year later, I'm in the middle of suing Joe. That's the only time I've ever sued for my fees, because I knew I wasn't going to get paid by Joe until I did. And I never have sued anybody for fees, except Joe. And I said to John, more personally, whoever it was, go ahead and, and we got the solicitors, and we took out an Order 14 summons, I swear there's no defence to this action, and I should get instant judgment. And Joe saw me down there. He said, "SEK, I've just discovered you have been paid." Oh, I am so. I mean, this is one thing Joe knew, was whether he'd paid a bill or not, but he had more front than. And I like Joe, but he undoubtedly is a scallywag. And he had one thing where I appeared for him in front of Manhattan at one point. I forget what that was about. But Tadgelon, I think, involved in it. And when Manhattan came to give judgment, instead of handing it down, it was a mammoth judgment. He spent the entire day reading this thing, spitting it out. The next thing Mr. Guss did, and Joe sitting there in the front row, just looking at him, smiling quietly, and driving Manhattan into a frenzy. I mean, fairly easy thing to do, to drive Manhattan into a frenzy. But Joe, he had more front than Myers, as they used to say.